YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. Having my Trump coffee today, Sunday, and I think it's about time to go ahead and start getting on this headliner. What we've got here is a headliner for a 2004 Dodge Dakota, and it's for the 4-door truck, so that's why it's so big. But the stuff was falling off of it, and this here was drooping down and on its head, and you had to use thumbtacks, you know the routine, to keep it from laying on his head while he's driving. Ain't nothing more aggravating. But the first thing we have to do is, this thing's fiberglass, so it's kind of a funky kind of a fiberglass. It's real thin, so we got to get all this foam off of here, and some of it will peel right off, but just in these light areas. All the dark areas, it's pretty well stuck. So you know, I can take and roll some of it, but some of it you can't. So it's like 3 different ways of making this happen. So we're going to try something. We're going to try scraping this. You see, when you try to scrape it, it just rolls up. So let's try this stiff bristle brush and see if it don't mess this up so we can't ever use this again, because that stuff might gum up in this and stick and get hard and never be able to use the brush again. But we'll know if it's going to do that in the first couple seconds. And we want to try to start this here. And as long as you keep cleaning it. Yeah, it's not doing too bad. So just as long as you keep up on this. Yeah, it's going to be time consuming. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I can just take my hand and rub the rest of that off of there. And that gives me a nice tacky surface to work with, because it's nice and clean. So we need to get all this looking like this. So enjoy the music. So now, here's what we took off. Alright, so now we got this real fine bristle. And we're just going to kind of go over it and get all the leftovers off of it. And you'll have to do this a lot before you're done. For the simple reason, this stuff is still tacky. It's still got a tack to it. So anytime a little piece of that gets up, flies or something like that gets in the air and airborne, it'll stick to it. So for that stickiness to stay on there and still be sticky after all that brushing, that tells me that's a good bond and it's a good surface for the spray glue that we're going to use, which is 3M Super 77. Now, yes, this is a tiny can, and we got another one coming. So basically all we're going to do is get this thing set up, and we'll show that part when that time comes. But for now, I just wanted to show the part one of the headliner rebuild. We've got the material for it. We're waiting for 2 clips, and we're waiting for glue. So we can't really do nothing until I get glue. Now once I get the glue, you'll see that. So we're just going to clean all this off of it the best that we can, because we're going to have to keep doing it. So there's really no sense in getting really into depth with it, because you're just going to be doing it over and over again anyway, no matter how you do it. See how all that stuff just stuck to it? But it just falls right back off. But you got to keep up on it, because you don't want to get one of these little, just the tiniest chunk of that could make that thing look bad when it's on there. You know, just a little piece like that underneath of it. It would leave an imperfection in the finished product. So we want to try to get this to factory specs. So somebody had suggested to me to use Super 90. So I didn't even know there was a such thing as a Super 90. So thanks, AJ, for pointing that out. I'll check that out. I have had this 77, and this is all I've ever used. But in the past couple of years, I've noticed that they're falling downhill on the sticking abilities. I don't trust this glue no more. But I think, did I just pace? Yeah, I just paged. Anyway, that was funny. Anyway, the next thing we're going to do is get this thing setting up on a calm day. You got to be calm. Calm as cucumber. And it helps that this is fiberglass, because tape will stick to this fiberglass really good. Now, we'll just have to find out what tape we need to use that will stick best with the material. So what I plan to do is just set it up on its back on the table, and then of course it'd have to be back there on the bench. I'm gonna have to have 2 tables running together, so I'll just take my portable table and put it next to the bench, and that way I can set this on the table and then glue or tape all across the bottom the material, and then fold it out on the other bench. Alright, once we get that done, then we can take, it's going to take 2 people. I mean, I could do it by myself, I just have to make a jig to hold it while I'm flipping it up. So what I'll do is just flip this back up on it to this side and keep it tight the whole time so it doesn't touch this, except for maybe here or here. Hopefully we have some work time before it sets up so good that you're ripping things trying to get it apart. I don't think that glue's that strong. So I think it gives you a little more time. The 90 probably is a faster drying. but we have to have time to get all this. This is a lot of surface to spray. So it takes time to get this thing sprayed, especially when you don't have a big nozzle coming out. We're spraying a wide spray. So, you know, it takes time to get this big of a headliner glued on one side, and you got to make sure you get the other side done, the material, before this starts dry or gets dry. Because once it gets dry, you have to recoat it again. So you just want it at a hard tack. Once you get it to that hard tack stage, you ain't got much longer. It's gonna be permanent. So as long as you get into valleys nice, so once I get it stretched across, then I can come in the middle and just kind of work it down until it touches in the center, and then just keep working my way out from highest to lowest. But you got to do it in a certain way, because you got valleys you got to go down into, like right here. So if you come out here and you stretch at any at all while you're doing that, you don't want to stretch anything. You want it to be as relaxed as possible. It's going to stretch down in here because you have no choice. So that's the plan anyway. But it'd be nice to have two people here, and I think Terry's going to help me do it. So we can't really do nothing until we get the material or the other glue, because you got to have enough glue to do all of it. You can't spray it one side and then run out of glue, and then you can't do the rest of it. Then you're going to have to go buy another can. So you got to think smart. So there you have the 2004 Dodge Dakota 4-door truck headliner, and we're going to have a go at it. So we just did the worst part. I thought it was going to be worse than that. So anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.